Hi everyone, this is just Ma, and today I'm going to present to you my final project, Crimulator. So, as you may already tell, this is the name of a simulator which is able to reconstruct a crime scene. So the theory I want to explore is phenomenology in the context of criminology, and the medium I'm going to use is virtual reality. First, I'll quickly go over the theory because I know we all focus on different theories. So, phenomenology is a discipline that studies the structure of consciousness from the first person perspective. And criminology is to study crime, including examining who commits crime, why they commit them, and how to prevent the crimes. So, when we talk about first person perspective, there's just one emerging technology that we could not ignore: virtual reality. So I believe most of you are familiar with virtual reality, especially if you are from either IDM or ITP. So VR uses different technologies to trick people's different senses to make them feel that they're in another real space. So the process of making people believe that they are in a real space is also described as chain of persuasion by Yuanchen, a Chinese theorist. This concept is like a series of chain reaction. When people have entered the VR simulator, the visual, auditory, olfactory, and tactile functions are just like checking boxes one by one. So the more boxes that you are checking, the user will increasingly believe that they are in a real space. So in order to trick as much of people's senses as possible, we have to use different technologies. With the booming market of VR industry, as you may see in this diagram that I created for the Crimulator, we're able to use different devices and equipment to trick different senses. However, one thing I want to make clear of myself is that most of the devices and the equipment are not like the finalized or matured enough technologies. They're more like the closest technologies that I can find which are available today. First of all, we have the VR glasses, and of course, which is used to provide visual to people. And Feel Real is a company which invented VR glasses that can also provide smell to users by using chemicals. Moreover, we can use VR gloves such as haptics gloves to provide a high degree of realistic tactile feedback to people by using its most cutting-edge microfluid sensory technology. And of course, we have headphones and stereos for sound or ambient sound, which is something that people tend to ignore, but actually quite important for scene stimulation in terms of making it to help it make the scene feels more real. In order to make investigator to move freely in the Crimulator, a workable VR platform will also be applied. Last but not least, the stimulator will be installed in a weather box, which we can control the humidity and temperature inside the box. It could also stimulate different weathers such as rain, snow, or storm if it is necessary. When the stimulator reaches a certain level of realism, the simulator will help the investigator to understand the criminal's first perspective vision and possible mental activity. Criminal psychologists can enter the Crimulator to analyze the psychological state of the criminal and the inducement that leads the criminal to actually commit the crime. By providing a move freely crime scene, the investigator is also able to understand the crime from their own first perspective. This could help them to try to understand what the criminal went through at the time of the crime, or even imitate an entire crime from the start to the end. And try to learn from it. They can analyze similar cases through the study of crime scene. When enough data is recorded, the police or the investigator may be able to effectively prevent similar cases. And this is how the Crimulator can able to solve the who, how, and why question or problem in the criminology. The reason why I want to create this Crimulator is because, according to criminal investigators, maintaining a crime scene is one of the biggest long-term questions. On the one hand, investigators need to enter the scene as soon as possible to collect all the evidence that may have been lost due to external factors later. But it will also guarantee that the crime scene will be damaged in some degree by the investigation itself. So it's almost impossible to really reconstruct a crime scene because everything will change, like the weather, the sunlight, everything will change after the crime immediately. Here is a VR scene which I created by my own in Maya. Everything except the cars are created or modeled by myself. So this is where my apartment used to be when I still lived in Brooklyn, Bond Street. I show this work just want to provide how realistic a VR scene could be, and of course I'm not even a professional expert of modeling. And now, let's assume that some crime happened in Bond Street. Now, we can make the scene more realistic by adjusting different factors, which I mentioned above, such as lighting, temperature, sound, and anything else. So, yeah, this is like a quick over of my project. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments. Thanks.